What we are going to learn today is Accounting Standard 11, which is changing in foreign exchange rates. We will be learning something about dollars, euro, pounds, that is foreign currency, and how to convert that foreign currency exposure into Indian rupees. So let us start directly with AS11, which is changing in foreign exchange rates. So first point that we are going to learn is currency. Which are different currencies? Say rupees, dollar. Can anyone tell me US dollar is the currency of which country? Abhishek? Anyone can tell me? US dollar.
America, sir.
America.
United States of America.
United States of America. It is US dollar, right? Canadian dollar is a currency of Canada. Pound.
Euro.
It is United Kingdom. Is it a pound? Pound is of UK. Is it alright? Euro is of other countries of Europe. Is it alright? There are other currencies, yen, Swiss franc, which are currency of different countries. Is it alright? So this is the first point, that is currency. Second is, we are in India. Our home country is India. All right. So rupees for us, because rupees is currency of India, rupees for us will be home currency. Any other country's currency, so any other currency other than rupees will be termed as foreign currency. That's all right. So this all for us will be foreign currency. Is it all right? Next point that we are going to learn is foreign exchange rates. Try to understand when you will go to CA final, we will be learning Forex as a chapter in SFM. Here we are having just basic idea of foreign currency. Say I am telling you one rate, rupees 70 per dollar. Try to concentrate. This rate is of dollar denominated in rupees. Alright, so it is as good as this. Rupees 10 per 1 kg of potato. What is the price of 1 kg of potato? Is 10 rupees. What is the price of $1? Is rupees 70. So this also means $1 $1 is equal to 70 rupees. Why they are termed as exchange rate? Because if you are having $1, it can be converted into 70 rupees, or vice versa. If you are having 70 rupees, it can be converted into $1. It can be exchanged with $1. So they are termed as a foreign exchange currency rates. Is it all right? This is how the rates are denominated. Let me give you a simple idea. Rupees, say 75 per dollar, is a direct quote in India. But we are in India. And 0.30 per pound is 0.30 rupees per pound. Sorry, pound per rupees. this will be treated as indirect quote in India. In foundation, you have also learned how to convert direct into indirect, indirect into direct. And if you have not done it properly, you will be again learning it in CA final, where we'll be learning a chapter of Forex. But right now, what is important is this is termed as a foreign exchange currency rate. Sorry. Now let us understand transaction in foreign currency. Try to concentrate. My company's name is X Limited, and on 1/4/2021 we have sold goods of how much? 1 lakh $US on credit. Sorry. Try to concentrate. Two things will be recorded. One is a debtor's account will be debited and sales account will be credited. It's correct. So there will be two accounts affected. One is a debtors, another is sales. What you have done today is sales. So let us forget right now debtors. You have done sales of $1 lakh, correct, which is receivable or payable, which is receivable after say 6 months. All right. Then this sales will be recorded today. Is it all? That is 1/4/2021. Is it all right? So it will be recorded today. And it will be recorded at a spot rate. Sir, what is spot rate? We are going to learn ahead. First, try to understand this transaction is nothing but a transaction in foreign currency. Now if you are in India, you might be exporting goods and your receivable might be dollars. You might be importing goods and your payable might be dollars or pounds or any other foreign currency. So AS11 will deal with all this transaction, how to convert it. Our next point will be conversion of foreign currency. Conversion of foreign currency into what? Indian rupees. Because your books of accounts, your journal entries will be passed in rupees. So you will have to convert your foreign exchange transaction into rupees. How to convert it? Try to concentrate. What we have sold? We have done a sales of $1 lakh today. Say today's exchange rate, which is also termed as the spot rate. A spot is today. Is it all right? Is rupees 80 per dollar. Say this is today's exchange rate. Is it all right? I will have to pass a journal entry for sales. At what rate it will be converted into rupees? I cannot write down $1 lakh in my outer column, because my outer column in my profit and loss account, in my journal entry, in my ledger account, in my trading account, in my profit and loss, and in my balance sheet, in all the cases it will be rupees. So I need to convert this $1 lakh into rupees. Try to concentrate. I am converting it. $1 lakh. What is the rate? 80 rupees per dollar, which is nothing but a direct quote. Is it all right? So this is a direct quote. We can directly multiply it. Also understand mathematically. If I write 80 over here, what is 80? Rupees per dollar. Instead of per, I am writing denominator, in denominator dollar. Can dollar be cancelled? The answer is yes. What is remaining in rupees? 80 into 1 lakh is 80 lakhs rupees. Try to concentrate. This 1 lakh dollar is converted into 80 lakhs rupees, which you can use for your journal entry as well as your other purpose of books of accounts. So this is how your foreign currency is converted into home currency. Sir, what we need to directly multiply it? The answer is yes if the quote is direct. Alright, say if it was 0.2 rupees per dollar, you could not have multiplied it directly. Alright, but if the rate is direct, you can directly multiply it and find out the answer of in the terms of rupees. So this was conversion of a foreign currency. Alright. Now try to concentrate. When you deal in foreign currency, there are other accounting problems which will arise, who will help AS11 will help you to solve it. Try to concentrate what are the problems. So I am taking again the same example. On 1/1/2014, we have sold $1 lakh goods on credit. Sorry. Now, today's dollar rate is rupees 70 per dollar. Alright. This is as on this date. First problem. Recording on date of a transaction. Which rate we should use? Today's rate, tomorrow's rate, yesterday's rate, day after tomorrow's rate. This money is receivable after 6 months. Is it alright? On credit for 6 months. Is it alright? And so we should use the rate after 6 months. If yes, we are not knowing the rate after 6 months. So do you understand? This is my first problem. Number 2, try to concentrate. Next date is 31st March 2050. This is year-end date. This is year-end date. When you will be preparing your balance sheet? Alright. On balance sheet, this money was receivable after 6 months, but we have not yet received. So we are having debtors of this $1 lakh. Sorry. Sir, it was converted. Yes, I agree. It was converted into 70 rupees if it was recorded on this date. But try to concentrate. Now the debtors are not practically 70 lakhs rupees. Now debtors are practically $1 lakh. Whatever you have written in your books of account. But from whom you will have to receive, say Mr. Jack. How much money is to be received is $1 lakh. Is it alright? So your debtors are practically $1 lakh. Is it alright? So the problem arises on this date. The rate is rupees 75 per dollar. Sorry. This is also termed as a closing date rate or closing rate. See my question number 2. On closing date, which rate should be used? I'm not writing down the answer. I'm just writing down the questions. Is it alright? And this all problems will be solved by AS11. Is it alright? Third, on 5/5/2050, we have received the payment. Can any student tell me how much money I will receive? 70 lakhs rupees or 75 lakhs rupees? Any student can give me answer. Otherwise I'll ask. Drashti?
$1.
Exactly. Is it all right? It is neither 70 lakhs rupees, it is neither 75 lakhs rupees. This you might have recorded, but you will be receiving what is $1 lakh will be received. The problem again arises is on this date the rate is rupees 72 per dollar. On which date? 5/5/2015. The rate is rupees 72 per dollar. Is it all right? Third question. On settlement, which rate should be used? See, you are not knowing any answer. But the question should be absolutely clear. On this date, which rate is to be used? On this date, which rate is to be used? On this date, which rate is to be used? And if there is a difference, why there will be arising a difference, I'll tell you logically. Is it all right? And we will be doing full-fledged question also, and we will be writing journal entries also. So everything will be clear. But if there is a difference, then how to deal with that particular difference? Is it all right? First, try to understand. I am giving you the answer. This we are going to learn throughout our AS 11. Right now, you can take my answer, park your questions for say later for 1 hour, and we will be answering this right now. On a recording date, rate as on the recording date should be used. Sorry. Or average rate. What is average rate? Right now, forget it. So which rate we should use? We should use 70 rupees per dollar. Try to understand on 1/1/2014 what journal entry we are going to pass. On 1/1/2014, we are going to pass a journal entry, debtors account debit to sales. All right. What will be the journal entry look like? $1 lakh. Can I write down in dollar? The answer is no. I will have to convert it into rupees. What is the rate that should be used? The rate which is applicable as on that particular date. On this date, which rate is applicable? 70 rupees per dollar. Sir, average rate? Right now, forget average rate. Is it all right? So I need to convert it at 70 rupees per dollar. So I will be multiplying it with 70 rupees per dollar. Dollar will get cancelled. My answer will be rupees, which is nothing but 70 lakhs. Are you getting it? This outer column debit credit is rupees. You cannot write down $1 lakh over here. Is it all right? On the last date of the year, still the money was not received. The debtor is already debited by 70 lakhs rupees. Is it all right? So we are going to second date, which is 31st March. This is 1/1 or 1/4? 1/1. This should be 1/4. 1/4/2014. This is also 1/4/2014. So this is 31st March 2015. All right. Now, there are debtors in my balance sheet of how much rupees? 70 lakhs. But it should not be of 70 lakhs. We will be learning. AS 11 will teach us. Debtor is a monetary item. We have not yet learned it, so don't get confused. Debtor is a monetary item which should be recorded at closing rate. Which is the closing rate? 75 rupees per dollar. So debtors should be recorded at 75 lakhs rupees. But sir, it is already recorded at 70 lakhs rupees. Agreed. So I will have to debit more debtors. Account debit. How much more is to be recorded? Is 5 lakhs. All right. Yes, Bhavya. Why not 75 lakhs? Darshita?
So because 70 lakhs is already debited.
70 lakhs is already debited. So what is yet to be debited is only 5 lakhs because I want to record it at 75 lakhs rupees. Is it all? And understand, you don't need to pay anything to anyone for this. Is it all right? This is your, ultimately it is your gain. And what to do about this gain? Again, it will be guided by AS 11. I told you foreign exchange conversion differences. What is to be done again will be guided by AS 11. Right now I am just telling you, you can just take it. It will be transferred to P&L account. How much gain is? 5 lakh. Again, you might not be logically understanding this because we have not completed AS 11. What we are trying to understand right now is what are the problems that are created by AS 11. You need to say this profit will go where? Correct. We are going to third date, which is 5/5/2015. All right. I hope you understand, if our debtor is paying us in full, debtor's account should be credited by 75 lakhs rupees because it was debited by 75 lakhs rupees. It should be credited by 75 lakhs rupees. Let us understand how much money you will receive. Bank account debit. And as Drashti told us, we will not be receiving any rupees. We will be receiving dollars. On which date? 5/5. So we will be converting it into rupees on 5/5. On 5/5, rate is neither 70 nor 75, it is 72. So what we'll be receiving is a bank account debit only 72 rupees per dollar. Dollar will get cancelled. It will be 72 lakhs. All right. Again, AS 11 will tell us what to do about this difference, and believe me, it tells us that it should be transferred to P&L account. And now understand, it is your loss. All right, of how much rupees? 3 lakhs rupees. All right. Can anyone tell me how much is total profit or loss on foreign currency conversion?
Sir, 3 lakhs.
It
profit.
is a 3 lakhs or 2 lakhs?
2 lakhs. Sorry, sir. 2 lakhs. Profit.
Net is 2 lakhs. Is it all right? How 2 lakhs? Can you explain, Bhavya?
Sir, like on closing, we recorded a profit of 5 lakhs, but
Exactly.
when we received the amount, there was a loss of 3 lakhs. So net, there is 2 lakhs profit.
Net, there is 2 lakhs profit. Also, in another way, try to concentrate. At what rate you have recorded your sales? 70. What you are actually receiving? See, if in between whatever is coming is accountancy. What you are actually doing is you are selling the goods at 70. You are receiving 72 rupees. What is the difference? 2 rupees per dollar. Is that all right? Multiplied by 1 lakh is nothing but 2 lakhs. This is the net loss which you are incurring. Is it all right? Now try to concentrate. This is nothing but foreign currency transaction. Story. Two things are absolutely clear. Number one. Number two. The date on which you record will be recording a rate. Is it alright? Which rate will be used? Rate as on that particular date. Is it alright? On settlement, which rate will be used is settlement rate. That is the date on. See, if you are receiving $1 lakh on 5th May, you will be using the rate as on 5th May because you are actually receiving the money which you will be receiving at which rate is 72. Is it alright? So there should not be problem in recording as well as settlement. Is it alright? So let me even write it down. Is it alright? Recording as well as a settlement. Which rate is to be used? Rate as on that date. Again, this I'll explain you. Correct. But the question comes when you are closing your books of accounts on closing date. Yes, in this case we have used closing rate. Understand what does AS11 says. AS11 divides the practically into three parts. Right. Monetary items, non-monetary items, and contingent liability. What are monetary items? First try to understand, then we'll be understanding rates. First we need to understand the meaning. Sorry. An item which is easily convertible into money, like debtors. You are going to receive $1 lakh. Money might be rupees or dollar. Is it alright? Stock. Even your creditors, because you are going to pay them. Is it alright? So all that items which are easily convertible into money will be treated as monetary items, and we are even writing down the examples. They are debtors, creditors, one stock, especially closing, cash itself, are monetary items. Is it alright? Which rate will be used? Try to concentrate. We have written this. Monetary item, which rate should be used is closing. So the date as on the date of balance sheet should be used to convert these items which are monetary items. Non-monetary items, like fixed assets, equity share capital, these are the items which are not easily or readily convertible into cash, and they will be recorded at original cost rate, or the date on which it was purchased, whatever is the rate, is it alright, will be used. We have done it in AS10 PPE, where we have done that PPE may be revalued, fixed asset, PPE may be revalued, is it alright, or rate as on the date of revaluation. I should use this. rate as on the date of purchase or rate as on the date of revaluation. Is it all right? So those are non-monetary items and it should be rate as on the date of purchase. So these items are not to be converted into closing rate. These items are not to be converted into closing rates. Is it all right? Contingent liability, again they are saying it is at closing. What is contingent liability? There is a full-fledged AS5 on it. So I'm not discussing what is contingent liability over here. But the rate that will be used is closing rate. Alright. So this is how you will be dealing if your business is in India and you are having some foreign exchange transactions like import and export by an Indian entity. This full concept will be used, and there is one more thing that is to be understood. Any exchange difference will be treated as a revenue item and will be transferred to profit or loss account. Alright. So any exchange difference will be transferred to profit and loss account. Let us see our question. Have we transferred it to P&L account? Yes. Have we transferred it to P&L account? The answer is yes. And so we will be transferring any exchange difference to profit or loss account. Try to concentrate. Still we are not doing a point whereby we are having another unit or another branch in foreign country. We are just dealing if we are having individual foreign exchange transaction or individual foreign currency transactions, then how to convert it as on today, how to convert it as on closing date, how to convert it after the balance sheet is started. Let us clarify our concept by this particular chart. If the settlement happens in same accounting year and if a settlement happens in subsequent accounting say, try to concentrate. I have purchased some goods on 36/20/20. Sorry. I have imported goods worth 1 lakh pound. Sorry. On a recording date, the rate was 90 rupees per pound. It was on credit. That's all. And what is the rate which is to be used at the time of purchase sales? Current rate is to be used. Is it all right? So on 36/20/20, you will be using the rate of rupees 90 per pound. All right. Yes, one student, Aman, will give me answer. What is the exact journal entry that I'll pass? You are purchasing goods worth rupees 1 lakh pound.
Purchase account debit
Yes.
on credit now you are purchasing.
To what? What will be credited?
Creditors account.
To creditors account.
To creditor.
Yes. And by how much rupees?
90 lakh.
90 lakhs rupees. You are correct. Is it correct? Say if the settlement happens in same accounting year, then there is no question of balance sheet date because balance sheet is not prepared before these creditors are settled. Is it all? You settle it in next month itself. Is it all right? So on 15th July 2020, you are paying 1 lakh pound. You will not be paying 90 lakhs rupees. You will be paying 1 lakh pound. And today's rate is rupees 92 per pound. All right. Try to be a good accountant. All right. What will be debited is creditors, and as a creditor should be closed, and it was credited by 90 lakhs, now it will be debited also by 90 lakhs. Bank is a real account going out, and how much amount is going out is 1 lakh pound and not 90 lakh dollar. Now you will go to bank and tell them, give me 1 lakh pound. 1 lakh pound is available today at 92. So this will be 92 lakhs rupees. 2 lakhs rupees debit balance. So there is a loss, and loss will be transferred to profit and loss account. This is what AS 11 says, that loss should be transferred to profit and loss account. Sorry. If the settlement is done in the same period, then ultimately there is no question of, or as on the closing date, how it should be recorded. Sorry. Now if the same question on 30th June 2020, excuse me, I have imported 1 lakh pound goods. The rate is 90 rupees per pound. I would have recorded it at 90 rupees per pound. On closing date, 31st March 2021, there will be creditors worth rupees how much? 1 lakh pound. All right. Yes, Abhishek, can you tell me at what rate it will be converted? Abhishek, your voice is not audible. Hitarth?
Closing rate.
Why closing rate? Can you help me out?
Sir, it is a monetary item.
It is a monetary item. Is it all right? So, as it is a monetary item will be converted at closing rate, and say closing rate is 95 rupees per pound is closing rate. So it will be converted at 95 rupees per pound. All right. Yes, Hitarth, can you tell me there will be profit or loss? Think and tell me, because the rate has increased from 90 to 95.
Sir, loss.
There is a loss of practically 5 lakhs rupees, which will be transferred on 31st March to P&L account. Hitarth, can you tell me, here also the rate was increasing. There was a profit, 70 to 72. Sorry, 70
Sir,
to
at that time we are selling the goods.
75. At that time it was your debtors, and this time it is your creditors. If you are having receivable and the foreign currency rate increases, it is beneficial to you. If you need to pay 1 lakh pound and pound rate increases, it is a loss making business for you. So you are correct. It is a loss which will be transferred to P&L account. Is it all right? On 5/4/2021, I am paying 1 lakh pound at the rate of rupees 96 per pound. Which rate will be used? 96 per pound, and there will be a loss of 90 minus 96, 6 rupees. No, there will be loss of only 1 rupee. Now this rate is to be compared. Why? 90 to 95, 5 lakh rupees you have loss already recorded. So remaining 1 rupee loss. Total 1 lakh rupees will be transferred to P&L. Yes, if you are passing journal entry, the difference of journal entry you can transfer it to P&L account. Now, these are only transactions in foreign currency. As I told you, we are not having a branch in foreign country and we are converting dollar into rupees. These are just import and export transactions or investment transactions which you might be getting. Say if you made an investment, sorry, yes. Can any student help me out? Investment is a monetary item or non-monetary item? I have invested $1 lakh in say Microsoft Incorporation. It is a monetary item. Investment. It is a monetary item. That $1 lakh will be converted directly into rupees. Is it all right? So and easily be converted into rupees. Even if it is long term, you want to convert it into rupees, it is convertible and hence it will be treated as monetary item.
Sir,
Yes.
but sir, we keep equity share capital in non-monetary items. And
Yes.
if there are shares of Indian companies or foreign companies, shouldn't it be non-monetary items only? Like
Equity share capital are our shares which other people have
Okay, sir.
purchased.
Okay, I thought it is investment.
Equity share capital. Capital means it is on our liability
okay,
side.
got it.
Is it all right? If
Yes,
it is on
yes,
our liability side, they will be treated as non-monetary item. Is it all right?
Yes,
So these are foreign exchange transaction. A simple point: monetary item, non-monetary item. Yes, 3 dates relevant. Recording date, date. The rate as on that date should be used. Closing rate. You need to closing date, that is date of balance sheet. You need to decide whether your balance sheet item is monetary or non-monetary. Based upon if it is monetary, it will be closing rate. If it is non-monetary, it is actual cost rate or NRV rate if it is fixed asset. If it is a contingent liability in your balance sheet, it will be translated into monetary rate. Third date relevant is a settlement date. That will be also done at actual rate. The difference arising due to this will be transferred to profit and loss account. They are treated as revenue, profit or loss and will be transferred to profit and loss account. We are going to next particular point. Let us solve one or couple of questions related to this particular foreign currency transaction. These all are institute questions, either intermediate or CA final questions. Soma Limited imported raw material worth $250,000 on 15th of Jan. $250,000 imported. When the exchange rate was 52, so this will be converted at 52 rupees per dollar. The company has recorded the transaction at that rate. Is it a good accounting treatment? The answer is yes. The payment for the import was made on 15th April. So before that, which date will come? 31st March. The payment of $250,000 was made on 15th of April. Payment of $250,000 was made. When the rate was 55, so you will have to pay 55 rupees per dollar. However, the exchange rate on 31st March is rupees 56 per dollar. Give accounting treatment. They are not asking us journal entry. Is it correct? On this date, practically what will be recorded is purchase account debit to creditors at what rate? 52. Is it correct? So it will be 250,000 into 52, which is 1 crore 30 lakhs or 130 lakhs. All right. Debtors will be also recorded at 130 lakhs as on this date. All right. Now debtors should be converted $250,000 into 56 rupees per dollar. Debtors should be converted. So it is nothing but 2,50,000 into 56. It is 140 lakhs. Is it alright? The problem is we have already debited 130 lakhs. So more debit will be 10 lakhs. And there will be profit there should be a loss, right? Okay, they are creditors, not debtors. Is it alright? They are, what is the journal entry past? Purchase account debit to creditors. How much? 130 lakhs. Let us pass journal entry. Is it alright? Now the creditors are to be recorded at 140 lakhs. So more credit. Creditors of 10 lakhs should be credited more. Is it alright? Profit and loss account will be debited, which is nothing but 10 lakhs. Is it alright? So 10 lakhs rupees loss will be transferred to profit and loss account. On the date of payment, creditors should be debited. How much total creditors are there? 140 lakhs, 130 plus 10. It should be debited by 140 lakhs. To bank, how much is paid? 2,50,000 into 55, which is 137.5 lakhs. So what will be transferred again to P&L account is 2.5 lakhs. Sorry. This is how the points will work. What is your total profit and loss throughout the transaction throughout this 2 years is 10 lakh was debited, 25 was credited. So net is 7.5 loss. 7.5 lakhs loss. How I can find out? What was the rate payable when I purchased the goods? 52. Now it is 55. All right. So there is a difference of 3 rupees per dollar multiplied by the base amount, that is $250,000. The answer will be $750,000. Sorry, 750,000 rupees. This will be my net loss. Net loss is never recorded in books of accounts because this loss will be debited in 31st March. That is on balance sheet. Is it all right? And this will be next year, next accounting year. Next also is something related journal entry. A Limited imported certain stocks worth $60,000. Again, it is import. Let me convert it into export. So that we got one journal entry of debtors also, another we will be doing of creditors also, another will be doing of debtors. Exported the certain stock of worth rupees 60,000 on 30th June. When the exchange rate was 54 per dollar. The payment, the receipt is made on 31st December when the exchange rate was 55.40 rupees per dollar. The stock is in hand and lying unsold on 30th September. So 30th September might be the date of closing. When the company closes the books of accounts, give the journal entry as per AS 11. If the balance sheet, as on the date of balance sheet, the rate was 53.85. So first date, 30th June. Exported $60,000. What is the journal entry? Debtors account debit to sales by what rate? $60,000 into 54 rupees per dollar. 60,000 into 54. It is 32,40,000. Next date will be closing date 31st March. Sorry, it is 30th September. In this case, the closing date is 30th September. When the company closes books of accounts, the rate was 53.85. So your debtors should be recorded at 60,000 into 53.85. It is 60,000 into 53.85. It is 32,31,000. But it is already recorded at, it is 32,31,000. But it is already recorded at 32,40,000. Is it all right? So 9,000 already recorded is more. So I will credit the debtors. How much difference between this two? 32,40,000, 32,31,000 is 9,000 rupees difference. Will be debited to which account? Profit and loss account. This is as on closing will be 9,000. What will be balance of debtor as on this date? Darshita.
32,31,000.
32,31,000. We are going to date of settlement, which is 31st December. Is it all right? It is the settlement date. The rate was 55.40. But first the debtors will be credited whatever was the balance, and as Darshita told, it will be 32,31,000. What you will be receiving? Bank account debit. You will be receiving not rupees but $60,000. And as on this date, the rate is 55.4. So how much money in the terms of rupees you will be receiving? 60,000 into 55.4. That is 33,24,000. 33,24,000. Which is higher than this, which is lower than this money. So it will be 7,000. Profit and loss account will be debited by how much rupees? 7,000 rupees. This will be journal entries which will be passed as on that particular date. This is how you deal with a foreign currency transaction. My only question is why debtor is recorded at closing rate?
Sir, there is profit.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Thank you. There is a profit of how much?
93,000.
32,31,000 minus 33,24,000. Yes, it is 33 lakhs. 93,000 profit. Sorry. Thank you. All right. So this is how you will deal with a foreign exchange transaction in a particular manner. So for companies, foreign industries which are doing practically import and export or investment in foreign currency, this all criteria will be used. Yes, one question which I was asking, why I have used closing rate for converting debtors? Can anyone answer why I have used the closing rate for converting debtors as on closing balance sheet date?
Sir, it is a monetary item.
It is a monetary. Absolutely all right. We are going to next point, whereby we are having branch or department in foreign country that branch or department purchases, sales, is having some assets, is having some liabilities in foreign currency. So either they are having trial balance in foreign now that balance sheet should be presented in that dollar, say in USA. Yes, it might be compulsory in USA, but in India you need to incorporate that balance sheet into your Indian balance sheet, and your Indian balance sheet cannot look like this: asset, machinery 1 lakh rupees, another machinery $20,000. It need to have answer in rupees. So your full trial balance will be converted into rupees. Sir, why can't we prepare trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet in dollars? You can prepare it, but that will be applicable for presentation in USA. If you want to take loan in USA, if you want to file income tax return in USA, that will be applicable. But for other all purposes, as this is your branch or department of a company in India, you will have to incorporate this trial balance into your main account trial balance, and which should be in terms of rupees. Is it all right? So for that, this particular operations, either branch or department, should be categorized as integral foreign operations, from now we will be terming it as IF, and non-integral foreign operations. Now onwards we will be terming it as NF. So my company, say X Limited, is having a branch in USA. I need to decide whether it is integral foreign operations or non-integral foreign operations. Sir, we should present it in such a manner which is benefited in income tax. Agreed. Which is benefited in GST. Agreed. But understand, this should not be the fundamental criteria for deciding. Is it all right? If you are evading the tax because you are just showing an integral foreign operations and non-integral foreign operations, or vice versa, then it might be challenged in court of law. But what is a good logical criteria to decide? Try to concentrate first the meaning, and then I'll tell you how to decide of integral foreign operations or whether operations is non-integral foreign operations. What is the meaning of integral foreign operations? The operations in the foreign country are part and parcel of a main company which is in India. Are part and parcel of a main company which is in India. Say I am manufacturing this type of pen. I have opened a branch in USA just to sell that pen. They are neither manufacturing, they are not hiring even employees. Employees even I am sending from India, or I am hiring some Indian people who are living in USA and paying them in Indian rupees. And the activity which is done in USA is part and parcel of a company which is located in India. Then that type of operations will be termed as integral foreign operations. Yes. Try to concentrate. I open a manufacturing plant for manufacturing my raw material in USA. Who will be managing it? I will be hiring a person who will be managing it in USA. Whenever they require money, they borrow in USA. Is it all right? This type of transactions which are independent of a business which is in India. Independent basically does not mean that we are also manufacturing refills and they are also manufacturing refills. There is raw material, so we are not independent. The operations in foreign countries should be independent. Then practically the operations, the branch or department will be treated as non-integral foreign operations. Is it all right? Let me give you some of the examples to decide, or some of the criteria, characteristics to decide whether a particular operation is integral or non-integral. Is it all right? Say first, autonomy. Independence. Is it all right? Say this particular branch needs to hire a purchase manager. They need to ask to head office. Who will take the interview? Head office. How much independence is given to this particular branch? No independence is given. Then the operation is integral foreign operations. Why? It is as good as another department of the same company which is situated in India. But see, this purchase manager can be hired by a manager who is staying in USA, who is the head of USA branch. The salary will be paid in dollars. He is having a complete independence or autonomy whether to hire or not to hire, whom to hire, at what salary to hire. Then this type of operations will be treated as non-integral foreign operations, because you are giving independence. They are as good as a separate unit. So this should be the first characteristics. Number 2, transaction pattern. Say this branch is manufacturing product X. The product X is priced at $2,000. Try to understand. Whatever is the exchange rate, we are not concerned. What it is priced at $2,000. They are non-integral foreign operations. Is it all right? Because they are practically independent. And they are charging it in dollar. Sir, ultimately this dollar will be converted into rupees and coming to India. The answer is yes. But try to understand, even if the exchange rate changes, the price remains $2,000. So they are not much affected by the change in exchange rate. Number 3 is a financing. Say they require $1 lakh. They borrow it from USA. They will be treated as non-integral foreign operations. All right, because they are independent practically. Is it all right? So financing will be also one of the characteristics to determine whether it is integral foreign operations or non-integral foreign operations. Is it all right? Expenses. If majority or all of the expenses are in dollars, they are non-integral foreign operations. If the expenditures majorly is done from India in rupees, they are integral foreign operations, because ultimately it is part and parcel of the Indian counterpart. Next is sales pattern. See, as we have discussed earlier, if the sale of the product is practically manufactured and sold in the foreign country, it will be non-integral foreign operations. If it is purchased, it is manufactured in India, practically it is just transported to be sold in USA, it will be integral foreign operations. And we have also done this price of the product, so we are not writing it down separately. So some of the characteristics or criteria to decide whether an operation is integral or non-integral foreign operations. But understand, at the end of the day, an accountant, an auditor should take a good judgment in each cases and criteria for each and every company. The transactions, the settlement procedure, the contract between the counterpart might be different. You need to analyze, keep this in your mind, keep the criterias in your mind. Ultimately, it is your good judgment which will decide whether an operations is integral foreign operations or non-integral foreign operations. It is good for us because in our book it will be directly given whether it is integral or non-integral foreign operations, and we need to directly deal with a branch or a department as if it is integral or it is non-integral. But what is the difference? Try to concentrate. First, we are going to integral foreign operations. And we are understanding integral foreign operations. See, understand, there will be a trial balance which will be in dollars. All right, there will be a trial balance which will be in dollars. Let me draw a small trial balance even. Debit, credit, but this are in dollars, which should be converted into rupees. All right. So at which rate it will be converted? At which rate it will be converted? Try to concentrate. If it is integrated foreign operations, if it is opening stock, which rate will be used is opening rate? Because last year it was closing stock, it was a monetary item, so it will be recorded at closing rate last year, so current year it will be opening rate. Start. Creditors, debtors, stock, that is closing stock, borrowings or loans, investment, tax provisions. At which rate it will be recorded? It will be recorded at closing rate. All right. Next, salary, wages, purchase, sales, expenses. So this all are the items which will practically not come in balance sheet. It will be actual rate as on that date, or average rate. I have still not explained you what is average rate. We'll be doing it later on. Is it all right? In the same lecture, but later on. This will be actual rate. Is it all right? And last is fixed asset, equity share capital, other non-monetary items will be recorded at specific rate. What is the specific rate? Date. It is rate as on the date of purchase, or rate as on the date of revaluation. Integral foreign operations. The foreign counterpart is as good as integral part of our Indian counterpart. Then this chart you need to learn. And believe me, it is as good as you are recording foreign transactions in your books of accounts. All right, we have already learned the criteria. Whenever you are doing the transaction, that rate or average rate should be used. Whenever you are doing your transaction, try to concentrate. whenever you are doing your transaction, salary is paid, wages is paid, you are purchasing the goods, selling the goods. Is it all right? We are not talking about debtors and creditors. Purchasing the goods, selling the goods. All expenditures. Which rate should be used? Actual rate or average rate? Start. Monetary items. Which rate should be used? Closing rate. Non-monetary items. Which rate should be used? The rate as on the date of purchase or rate as on the date of revaluation. That is the actual rate should be used if they are non-monetary items. Is it all right? Sir, there is opening stock. This is different. Is it all right? Why it is different? Try to understand. Opening stock practically is written in trading account. Last year it was valued at closing rate of last year, which is nothing but opening rate of current year. Is it all right? So there is only change here over opening stock. If there is an individual transaction, there will be nothing like opening stock or closing stock. So practically this is written separately. Otherwise, they are the same rules which we have done for individual transaction. Same rules as we have done for individual transaction. Is it all right? All right. This all were in dollars. Sorry. We have converted it into rupees. We have converted it into rupees. Is it all right? Yes. Drashti, can you help me out? Whether your rupees trial balance will still tally. Your dollar was tallied. Or there will be difference.
Difference.
There will be difference. Can you tell me the reason why?
The rates are different. So
The rates are different. For individual items, there might debtors are recorded at closing rate, creditors are recorded at closing rate, but fixed asset are recorded at some other rate. Then your practically rupees will not tally. Darshita, how did you know this? Have you learned somewhere this point? Yes.
yes, sir, exchange difference is to be debited to PNL. That's what
Debited or credited to PNL. But where you have learned, my question is.
in AS 11.
In AS11 or some other place also? Drashti?
In branch accounting.
Yes, branch accounting, foreign branch accounting. Believe me, the question was same of AS11. It's all right. So, if there is any difference, debit side or credit side, if there is a difference, and we have done questions of only integral foreign operations, if there is a difference, it will be transferred to profit and loss account. They are foreign exchange currency translation loss or profit, which will be transferred practically to which account is profit and loss account. Start. This is integral foreign operations. We are going to NFO or non-integral foreign operations. Same thing, there will be branch or department. There will be trial balance, which will be in the terms of dollars. Let me again draw it. There will be trial balance, which will be in dollars, debit and credit, which will be absolutely tallied. Now I want to convert it into rupees. The transaction is regarded as non-integral foreign operations. If they are regarded as non-integral foreign operations, believe me, the only changes. First, we have already learned how to decide whether it is integral or non-integral. Now we have taken judgment it is non-integral foreign operations. Is all right? Yes, let me tell you the rates. Is all right? If it is opening stock, say in trial balance, there will be opening stock. Huh? Opening stock will be at opening rate. All right. Sales, purchase, salary, wages, expenses, incomes. They believe me, those all are profit and loss items, which are not transferred to next year. So practically they don't come in balance sheet. So it should be at actual rate or average rate. Now, up till this point of time, there is no difference. Whether it is integral or non-integral, it is remaining same. The difference is only over here. Monetary, like debtors, creditors, closing stock, cash and bank, etc. Or non-monetary, fixed asset, equity share capital, etc. Both are recorded at closing rate. So if they are non-integral foreign operations, if they are independent, each and every item of balance sheet, if it is profit and loss account, it will go over here. Each and every item of balance sheet will be recorded at closing rate. Is that right? So my rupees a trial balance of debit and credit will tally. Yes or no? Drashti, same student. Will it tally or not? Yes, no?
No, it will not tally.
What is the reason? Can you tell me?
Same rates are not rates are different.
So why monetary as well as non-monetary? Anything which is in balance sheet is having same rate, closing rate. Yes or no?
But opening stock, no.
Opening stock. It is in trial balance. This is not our balance sheet. This is our trial balance. Yes, you are correct. Is it not? Also, even if it is balance sheet, say equity share capital, fixed asset are recorded at which rate? Closing rate. Is it all right? But the profit which will be transferred from P&L account to balance sheet will be different. Is it all right? And it will be at different rate. And we are converting not our balance sheet, we are converting our trial balance. So practically there will be a difference. Either on debit side or on credit side, which will be transferred to profit and loss account. The answer is no. If they are not integral part of our organization, if we have categorized it as non-integral foreign operations, then the difference will be transferred to a reserve which is termed as a foreign currency translation reserve. Let me do it with pen. It will be foreign currency translation Of course, if it is having a credit balance, it will go on liability side. If it is having a debit balance, it will go on asset side. That's it all. And next year, if any, will be ultimately debited or credited to this particular reserve. So every year you don't transfer it to profit and loss account. This is what AS 11 says. Let me go into detail and ask some of you. Why this? If NFO, non-integral, it is transferred to some reserve which is termed as foreign currency translation reserve and carry forward, practically it will be written in balance sheet. And if it is integral foreign operations, it is transferred to profit and loss account. My question is why? Any student can answer.
Sir, because in NFO, all the transactions are done by that different department present in foreign country only,
Okay.
and no Indian rupees involved. And in
All right. Even some of the
that,
Indian rupees might be
IFO, all
involved, but yes, go ahead. Sorry.
and IFO, the Indian rupees involved in transaction are also carried out through Indian rupee. Like the expenses are borne by in Indian currency through that branch, through that Indian branch.
All the sentence from first to last are not correct, but your idea or the logic is absolutely correct. Anything which is integral part of your organization, the profit or loss should be treated as your day-to-day profit or loss and should be treated as revenue and transferred to P&L account. But something which is not an integral part of your organization, which is somewhat an independent event, you might have invested your 50% of that company's tech, excuse me, or you might, practically it is not integral part of your organization. Then profit or loss on that conversion of foreign currency translation, this is just because the foreign currency is fluctuating. If it was remaining same, this difference would not have arisen. So there is a profit and loss, agreed, but it is long term, not very integral part of our business. Let us carry it forward. In future also there will be profit or loss which will be debiting or crediting to that particular account. Is it all right? So your idea is, Aman, absolutely correct. Is it all? This will be non-integral foreign operations. Is it all? And this is how it will be recorded. Is it all? So what is the only difference? Try to understand. If it is integral, monetary at closing rate, non-monetary at a rate of date of transaction or rate of date of NRV, the difference in trial balance due to currency fluctuation will be transferred to profit and loss account. Non-integral foreign operations, opening stock opening rate, purchase sales and all daily routine average rate, it is same as integral foreign operations. Balance sheet items, monetary as well as non-monetary, will be converted at closing rate. Another difference, the difference arising because of foreign exchange currency translation will be transferred to P&L account. No, in integral foreign operations, yes. In non-integral foreign operations, it will be transferred to foreign currency translation reserve. Is it all right? So this is integral foreign operations and non-integral foreign operations. Is it all right? The basic difference lies over here. Between integral and non-integral foreign operations.